best benefit is that you're learning so many of the skills that the colleges and universities are looking for when it comes to analysis and synthesis, writing, being able to interpret things in a very intellectual way.
Another point to take in the AP course is the fact that, if you do your homework, and by homework I mean researching the different colleges, you can potentially save yourself an awful lot of money. I'm not going to lie, some colleges will say absolutely not. Other colleges, if you're not majoring in that particular subject, let's say you're taking English but you don't want to be a literature major, a 4 or a 5 on the AP exam could fulfill that college requirement. In the case of sciences, I know for some of the sciences you can get as much as 4 to 8 credits. So again, if you consider each college class, depending on where you go, could be up to $2,000 a credit, you're saving yourself a nice chunk of change.
Some of the other benefits outside of that are just a chance to work with other students in interesting material, in a classroom where the students are engaged, everyone's motivated, they're all on the same page, working towards a common goal. And a lot of the distractions that sometimes crop up in other classes are just not an issue, and you get to focus really on the learning in an AP class. So those two, I think, and students really seem to enjoy that, to tell you the truth.
In an AP classroom, we are literally following the College Board syllabus, and that really mimics a college-level course. So there is a lot more reading, it moves at a much faster pace, but there's also a lot more stimulating discussion and things that hopefully will interest the student.
The kids are more focused on what they're doing, there's less distractions, and because so much content has to be covered in an AP class, there's just basically less time to cover the material. There's less time for distractions, but there's also, the work has to be more intensive so that everything can get covered. So the expectations of the teacher are that the kids come in having done their homework, knowing where we're going that day, and then with questions for the teacher.
In a science course, it is a requirement of the College Board that whether it be AP Chem, AP Physics, AP Bio, AP Environmental, which we offer here as a virtual course, that 25%, if not more of the course, has to be dedicated to lab work. And the nice thing in the science course is traditionally in other science classes you would get kind of like, I like to refer to them as cookbook labs, where it's like step 1 do this, step 2 do this. And the labs are more open-ended where the kids really have to think, the students have to think about what is it that I'm testing, what variables do I have to keep constant, what am I going to change, what am I going to keep, how am I going to measure this? So there's a lot more thinking like a scientist than you might find in a traditional classroom.
And we do a lot of writing. In European history, which is the one I teach, we have, and the histories also have this, we have DBQs and we have FRQs. A DBQ stands for a document-based question. And what you're literally doing is you're taking and interpreting excerpts from primary source documents. And after a while, students get very good at being able to interpret the information, being able to analyze them and come up with very good connective thoughts in order to write very good essays. Colleges and universities like seeing AP classes on your schedule as they're looking at your college application. But they also recognize that if you are successful in an AP course, then that will predict your success at a college or university. And they like when you challenge yourself. They are looking for students who are willing to take that leap and take the chance. And that's what makes college and universities so excited to have you as one of their new incoming freshmen. The
self-esteem that goes along with being in an AP class is just remarkable. The confidence and the trust level that students have to be able to, because in an AP class, it's not always about getting the right answer so much as it is, okay, I didn't get the right answer, but now let me think about it. And I can get there by justifying, even if it becomes justifying why the other 4 aren't the right answers, even if it becomes process of elimination, it is that thought process. And all of the skills that you learn in an AP course, the critical thinking, the analysis, the lab techniques, the ability to kind of concisely put your answer together are life lessons. They're life skills.
The most obvious reason would be for that college credit that you can get, but also the material you're going to be learning is going to be more interesting. You're going to cover more difficult material, and as you get older and you become more of a student, you're going to find out that it's really at more advanced levels of learning that things become interesting. When you're at a very basic level of learning history, you're learning, okay, this happened on this date. As you start to understand why things happen, why people behave the way they do, in my class, economics, you might hear about things on the news, oh, the budget deficit, tax increases, whatever, Obama and the Republicans. When you start to understand really what all that means and be able to apply it to the real world, I think learning just becomes that much more enjoyable. You start to see a reason for what you're doing here, and it's not just something in a book that you're having to learn. This is the real deal. And I think that's the intrinsic reward of taking something at the AP level. You get a deeper understanding, and it's just that much more rewarding.
I wanted to challenge myself more, I think, than just a regular 6.0 class, and I only really took APs that I was interested in. So I wanted like more in-depth, like for US history, like I wanted more than just like to brush the surface, like I wanted more in-depth of studying the subject.
I thought it would help me prepare for the workload of college, and it would help me manage my time better and learn how to take better notes and just be a better student overall.
I had the discussion with my parents early on about whether or not it would be worth spending the money now for the AP exams or spending the money at college, and we did the math on the classes I wanted to take or could take, and it ended up being like 30-some credits if they honor all of them, the college I want to go to. So it didn't make any sense not to, and the classes really aren't that drastically more difficult.
I decided to take AP courses because I thought they would be a good match for where I would want to challenge myself, and also the cost angle of it. You can spend $90 to save yourself hundreds of dollars in college.
The biggest challenge is it definitely requires a lot of time and effort in taking notes and keeping up with the course every day.
There is a lot of work and a lot of expectations. You're expected to do a lot on your own, and the classes are more discussion-based, so you have to really do a lot of homework and you really have to push yourself.
AP is a lot of independent work. It's not as much you have to do this day and this day. You'll have time to study the subject and then you have a test. So you have to really learn to budget your time. And so I think once you do learn to budget your time, it pays off in the end, even for your other classes. But for me, that was the biggest challenge, making sure you get everything done and you really motivate yourself to do it.
The work can be like a little much at times, but you just find a balance with it and you find a way to manage your time, and like you don't find yourself wasting more time than you usually do, and you make it work.
It's a good environment. Everyone that's in it wants to be there. A lot of people are very passionate about the subjects.
I think the best thing is that you get a lot out of it, so while you're working harder, you get more information, and I think if you really love what you're learning about, it's more exciting to be in that class.
I think for me, I just really like the environment. The students really want to be there, they want to learn about it, and I think that makes you more interested in it. So even like with AP, you get to more engage with the class, like in-class debates and stuff like that, and you really get to know the material better, and you're with other people who want to be there too.
I love walking into a room with a whole bunch of other kids who really want to be there and really want to learn the same things that you want to learn, because you get to have so many more interesting discussions, and you really sit down and everybody is motivated to be there because everybody wants to be there, and you all work together and bounce ideas off of each other, and it's a cool environment to be in.
Biggest benefit has been that, so far, like I took one AP test last year and I scored a grade that will get me credits at college, and also like I'm in 3 more APs this year that'll get me the credits, hopefully, if I score well, and like also just like the benefits of like the more rigorous classes will prepare you more for college in general.
If you really want to learn and you really want to take things further, you need to push yourself into a class that is going to challenge you and is going to make you really tired and really stressed, but you'll get a lot more out of it than you expect, and then you'll leave with a more enriched education.
You're going to get skills in that class that you're going to carry through your other courses and eventually into college. And now is the time to take the class for free that you would be taking in college. You're going to have to pay for that class in college. If you have the chance now to get an idea of what it would be like, or get the experience, it's just a really good way to just like put yourself out there and just try it.
If you're really interested in a subject, you should consider an AP course because they go really in depth about what the subject is, and it'll really help you, especially AP English and any of the AP maths like AP Calculus. They'll help you on the SAT. So, and with AP Bio and AP World, they have SAT subject tests, so that also helps you. And I don't know, they're very interesting, so you learn a lot about it, and then it can help you decide on even what you want to major in college. So if you're interested in sciences and you take, say, AP Chem or AP Bio, it'll help you make a decision if you're really into that or not.
You're so much more in the curriculum, and you're surrounded by kids that really love to learn with you. So your class as a whole is much more interesting, and you just love what you're doing.